Hello and welcome to the video on triangle congruence. In this video we're going to focus on two things. We're going to focus on the side-side-side method and the side-angle-side method. Side-side-side is SSS and side-angle-side is SAS. Those are the abbreviations that we use, and let's take a look. The side-side-side method means that in both triangles you know the measurements, you either know the measurements of all three in one and the measurements of all three in the other, or that you just happen to know that the three sides in one triangle are congruent to the three sides in the other triangle. If that's true, then the triangles are congruent. So if we look at this problem here, we see some tick marks. I see that BC is the same as DE, EF is the same as AB, and I see that DF is the same as AC. That means I have three sets of congruent sides, three pairs, which means that I know why these triangles are congruent. They're congruent by the SSS method. So I can say they're congruent by SSS. But now I actually have to say the congruence, say how these triangles are congruent. Well, I've got ABC, A to B to C. You're going to follow the tick marks. Your goal is to be able to put this triangle on top of that one so that all the tick marks line up, okay, that the congruent pieces match. All right? Well, AB, that's got to match with EF. But the question is it EF or FE? So I got to make sure 2, 1, 3. I got to do the same thing. 2, 1, 3. It's got to go FED. Another way to look at it, if you're not sure, we started with A here. Well, A, this angle is made up of these two sides. The sides that have 2 tick marks and 3 tick marks. So I better start with whichever angle is formed by those two sides. 2 tick marks and 3 tick marks. Here's 2, here's 3. These sides meet at F. So I know it's congruent to triangle F something something. So I go further. A goes to B. Well, A to B. 2 tick marks. F to E or F to D? 2 tick marks. F to E. So it's going to F, E, and then the third letter's got to be D. No real choice in the third one there. All right, once you know the first two, the third one's decided for you. If we look at another example. Sometimes you'll see triangles stuck together, a side. And, well, whenever that happens, when they share a side like this, well, these two triangles both have this side in them. So let's say I knew that the TS in the left triangle, let's say I knew it was 5 inches. Then automatically, I know in the right triangle, it's got to be 5 inches. It's the same side. It's like if you shared a wall in between 2 rooms. Well, that wall should be the same length on either side, unless you've got something horribly wrong with that wall on one side, which probably wouldn't happen. Wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. So every time you see this, like joined side, shared side, you can label it congruent to itself, because TS is in the left triangle and TS is in the right triangle. I can't use 1 tick mark, I can't use 2 tick marks because they were already used, so I'll use 3. And now I've got 3 pairs of congruent sides. 1, 2, and this is technically a pair even though you only see one of them. And this is a third pair, so this is, again, SSS. Now we got to match the triangle. Q to S to T. Q, S, T. Well, hopefully you see that this triangle pretty much folds over to match with this one, but again, if you're not sure, look at Q. It's formed by the 2 sides here and here. This is angle Q. 1 tick mark and 2 tick marks. They meet at Q, so I look for 1 tick mark. I look for 2 tick marks. They meet at R. It's going to be triangle R, and then let's see, Q went to S. Q goes to S. Well, that goes along the side of 2 tick marks. R better go S, the side that has 2 tick marks as well. R, S, and then obviously T. All right, that's your second example of SSS. We look at this triangle here, or this pair of triangles, I should say. So each time you look at these, you want to identify what you already know. In this triangle, originally we only knew, in this kite, we originally knew that we had 2 sets of congruent sides. We had to give the third one, we had to label it. Here, we see I've got 1 set of congruent sides, BD and BD and DF, and we've got another set of sides, DC and DE. So that's 2 sets of congruent sides. But SS by itself isn't a method. So I either need to know that these sides are congruent, and I don't know that, nor do I have any way to realize that, because they're not joined at the same side like this. So SSS probably isn't going to work as a method. So I look to the other method that I'm covering in this video, SAS. SAS says that you've got 2 congruent sides, so far so good, and the angle in between those sides. The angle where those 2 sides meet, that angle has to be congruent to the same angle in the other triangle, okay, where the 2 sides meet. So these 2 congruent sides here, they meet at this angle. These two congruent sides here, they meet at this angle. Hopefully you remember that these are vertical angles, and vertical angles are always the same as each other. They're congruent. So now I've got it. Side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. I'm good to go. Okay? The angle is between the two congruent sides. If that angle was not there, if that angle was here and here, or say here and here, I'd be out of luck. Because side, angle, side, the angle is between the two sides. That's why it's written as SAS, with the A in between the two S's. So again, match up the triangles congruently. BCD, let's see, BCD. B is between no tick marks and one tick mark. So I look for no tick marks and one tick mark. That matches with F. And then I keep going. B to C. B went to C. Along this side there were no tick marks. So from F, I can't go to D, I better go to E. And then afterwards, the last one's got to be D. Alright?